Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Things are definitely heating up here in Modern Warfare and Warzone as we approach the end of Season 4. Because unlike what we've seen before, we're actually getting a lot of information on the next season a whole lot earlier than normal. You know, usually 2 or 3 weeks out we start to see some of the leaked info surface regarding some of the new weapons and maps and whatnot for the upcoming season. And it really wouldn't be until a few days before that season were to launch that Call of Duty themselves would start revealing things. However, here we are just under 2 weeks out from Season 5, and we've already got quite a few big teasers for the season. So today we're breaking down all of these Season 5 teasers, including the brand new one that just came out today, what they all mean for next season, alongside the latest intel for Warzone that sheds even more light on what's to come. So if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here, I am always covering the latest Call of Duty news, intel, updates, leaks, and all things of that nature, so feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on to stay on top of everything there. So starting things off, of course, we've got to talk about Season 5. And while the intel that we're going to cover later on into the video actually ties into the teasers in general, what we've seen so far indicates that next season is going to be full of some pretty significant changes. So the initial teaser that we got came from Nick Merckx back on Monday, and this showed off a video from the point of view inside the train over by the train station. And we see a helicopter fly over and then the train horn sounds. So this implies that the moving train that we've seen plenty of leaks about so far is finally coming in Season 5. And I think this is going to be a really interesting dynamic, right? This train is said to have loot that spawns on it, so theoretically you could land on it, you could gear up, and I assume you could also use it for transportation too. Also, on the very top of the screen, you can see the date of August 5th, which is presumably when Season 5 is going to be going live.
What is happening?
Then the second teaser that we saw came from TP, and this time it looks like it's from footage of a security camera that's actually inside of the stadium, and you can see all the various soccer team logos in there. And then the camera is actually knocked out by some kind of blast. Now, this one is without a doubt way more exciting than the train one to me because there's just a lot more possibilities as to what exactly could be going on here. Now, I know a lot of players are assuming right away that this is the nuke going off. We know for a fact there's a nuke under the south bunker over by the statue, and we also know there is a warhead over in bunker number 11. So right away players are saying, yeah, you know, this has got to be it. This has got to be the nuke. However, the more I think about it, and honestly the more I look into this one, the less I think it is actually the nuke. And instead, either a small bomb and maybe this security camera is within the blast radius of it, or it's actually some kind of EMP, and that's why we see the camera cut out to the whole no signal screen. Other people are thinking that the smoke or the dust or whatever it is may actually be the aftermath of something exploding on the roof, and that's just sort of the debris and the effect of that happening. Others think it's the stadium floor opening up for a rocket to be launched from it. Personally, I think that one may be a bit extreme, but whether or not this explosion is capable of leveling the stadium and maybe even downtown too, that is sort of still up in the air, but we do know something big is happening that has to do with the stadium in Season 5. Now, as I said, we also got another new teaser earlier today, this time though it was from Jack Frags, and he, much like Nick and TP, also got a special care package, and in his teaser, he actually shows off a letter from one Marcus Lurch Ortega, who is a senior officer at the Shadow Company. And if you remember, Shadow Company is led by General Shepard, and we learned about them in the previous Modern Warfare series. Now, as for the teaser video, this one is honestly pretty tough to decipher just because the image is so unclear. But this appears to be in the aftermath of the stadium explosion from the second teaser, and in it you can see that there's some kind of fire going on in the background, and at the very end of this teaser, a helicopter appears. And we can tell this actually takes place 1 minute after the initial explosion that we saw in teaser 2, and we also saw that helicopter headed towards the stadium in teaser 1. So this timeline of events has basically all just been connected now, and this all but confirms that the stadium is in some deep trouble come Season 5. But the question now, I guess, is how deep is said trouble? Of course, only time is going to tell there, but I for one am very eager to see just how impactful these upcoming map changes are. Now, getting into the intel, this week is all about new perspectives, and we need to uncover the truth behind the airport attack. AKA, what we learned about the attack in the fractured intel missions may not have actually been true. So yeah, things here in Warzone are definitely getting a little weird. So step 1 is pretty basic. This is essentially the same every single time we get a new piece of intel. We first need to find the location in the message that Ghost has sent us, and this one is pretty obvious. When you view the intel, you can see the ghost coin on top of the wall outside of the kill house area over at the military base. So when you land there, collect the coin, aka the intel, and you're good to go on to step number 2. Now, step 2 says to begin the search for the UAV, and when you view this intel, you see a note that says, Arm 4 team had intel from UAV reconning the airport attack. We need to find it. Start at the Arklov military base, and if you didn't know, Arklov military base is just the regular military base, and conveniently enough, this intel is located basically right next to where intel number 1 was. This time it's just inside the smaller ATC tower right outside the kill house area, so climb up to the second floor there and it'll be right at the desk, and then you're on to step number 3. So step number 3 says the UAV was being controlled from the airport, and when you view this intel, it's just a UAV flight log. It says what time it left, where it departed from, where it was headed, and also the weather, which, just in case you're wondering, the weather was simply clouds. You know, hey Tom, what's the weather gonna be like today? You know, Jerry, it's just clouds. Like, yeah, okay, kind of a weird description, but hey, not too important. What we should also note, though, is that this log says C-130 tarmac controlled. So, to find this piece of intel, you need to land at the hangars on the east side of the airport, then head on over to the little shacks by the radio tower, and for this one you need to go into the right shack, and then in the very back there's a folder which contains the intel. Then, getting into step number 4, this one says the downed UAV was being repaired, and when you view this intel, this goes over the cargo manifest, stating what parts are being shipped, and on the manifest, there is a bright purple note that says, sent to scrapyard for diagnostics. So this one is another pretty obvious one. If the UAV was sent to scrapyard, then of course, we are also going to scrapyard ourselves. So head on over to the boneyard area, and right on the southern part of the scrapyard above the actual scrapyard helicopter spawn, you need to go inside of the hangar, and right next to the UAV, there is a big server shelf and also a laptop, and the intel is basically right on top of that. Now, for step number 5, it's being reported that this one is currently a little bit messed up. The objective here says a corrupted image could give a clearer picture, but when you view the intel, the image really isn't very corrupted. In fact, it's actually quite clear what's going on. This is a blue on blue attack, which actually means friendly fire. So this was a friendly on friendly attack. However, the image we're seeing here should actually be the final image and not the image for Intel 5. But regardless, to find this intel, you need to go to the downtown Capitol building, as I call it in game. It's right where the B flag is in Domination in Ground War, and inside behind the desk, there's a series of monitors, and that's where the final intel for this week sits. Now, I won't lie, this week's intel is by far the most confusing one that we've seen so far, just because it doesn't really give us a lot of information when it comes to what's going to happen in the future. Essentially, what this leaves us with is that there were friendlies firing on one another for an unknown reason, and that's basically what we need to figure out. But here's where I'm thinking things begin to connect a bit more. As we talked about with the teasers for Season 5, the Shadow Company is becoming involved in the Modern Warfare story, and General Shepard in the storyline may actually be responsible for some of the operators we have in the game right now. For instance, Mace actually has the Shadow Company logo with the Rook on his side. So just a theory, bear in mind this is just simply me speculating, but what if this friendly on friendly attack isn't actually a friendly on friendly attack? And instead, the friendly firing on the other friendlies are working under the Shadow Company and posing as operatives to try and get some information. That would basically explain Mace's role in the game, and this sort of ties into how the Shadow Company is involved in what's going on already. Anyways, with all of that being said, that is effectively everything we know about Season 5 now thanks to the new teasers, plus what information the newest intel gave us as well. And that is going to wrap things up for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here and you want to stay up to date with the latest Call of Duty news, intel, updates, leaks, and everything in between, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. That way you'll always know whenever I upload a new video. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL on all Scuff, G Fuel, Control Freak, and Respawn products. All of those links can be found down in the description below, and once again, thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.